So I'm here with Scott Hanson of NFL Network. Talk to me a little bit about tonight's banquet and what this event means to all the Christian athletes.
Yeah, I'm here for the 30th year of the Fellowship of Christian Athletes in Central Illinois. It's a big thrill to be the keynote speaker. It's a big pressure as well, but I love the fact that it combines getting people together in a divided world the way we have. That's the fellowship part. The Christian part, my faith and the faith of many that will be taking part, and then athletes. How do you marry athletics and striving for excellence on a playing field or a court with your faith, and how do you live that out? FCA is all about that, helping coaches and athletes, and I'm thrilled to be a part for tonight.
Yeah, and you talked about it a little bit. How important is it for these athletes to have something like this to guide them in their faith as well as, in a direction forward?
When I was a young person and I played college football, I was always kind of wondering, okay, that God stuff, I don't want any part of that. But I always saw different athletes that were champions and worked hard and were excellent. And then they would say, I want to give the glory to God. And I would say, okay, is there something there? But I didn't really know. FCA helps to synergize that, to make it more understandable and more real in people's lives. And I think it's not only a benefit to athletes in their athletic endeavors, but in their life, both here and eternally. I think FCA does an amazing job with that.
Yeah, and talk to me a little bit how you got involved for the first time. You touched on it a little bit. Talk to me how you ended up in this organization, and we're 30 years later.
28 years ago, when I worked at WICS, News Channel 20 in Springfield, Illinois, my second TV job ever. I still have fond memories of it. I went through a great change in my life. That's when I became a Christian, and I wanted to know as a sportscaster, and now as a new Christian trying to figure out what this life of faith looked like. How does this work out? And I trusted guys that had athletic backgrounds. And there was a guy named Brian McKenzie. He'll be here tonight, but he was on staff at FCA. Brian was a former linebacker in the NFL. And I thought, here's this big, strong, tough guy who says, yeah, you know what? I love Jesus. And I'm like, okay, teach me more about this. Teach me more about what it looks like. And so that's how I got involved with FCA 28 years ago. I never thought all these years later I'd be the keynote speaker at their banquet, but I'm proud to be, and I hope to do a great job with it.
Yeah, and what will we hear? What's a little bit of your message to these people in attendance tonight to kind of move forward and find their faith and what's next for them?
I think my message tonight is, if you watch me on NFL Red Zone, I love talking about big things. The witching hour, when wins become losses and losses become wins. I'm talking about Patrick Mahomes needing a touchdown with a minute left and no timeouts on his own 10-yard line. Big things. But I'm going to tell the audience that I believe there are bigger things. In fact, infinitely bigger things that we can talk about tonight, and hopefully we'll weave a message with a little bit of humor, some deep thoughts, maybe a couple of challenges for the audience, and I hope it's a fun time.
Yeah, and you mentioned being here 30 years ago at WICS. What's it like being back in Springfield, Illinois? Anytime you're here, this is where basically you got your start.
This is where so many of my broadcasting dreams were born. I hear the words Springfield, Illinois. I hear the words Central Illinois. And no matter where I'm at in the country or in the world, it goes right to my heart. This was home for 2.5 years, and I went through the greatest change that any human being could ever go through right here in Springfield. It's a special place to me, and it always will be.
Yeah, and talk to me about how did it prepare you for what was next, heading onto your next career, and then eventually the NFL Network?
Yeah. Working in Springfield helped prepare me for national television, network television, and even hosting NFL Red Zone, because they love their sports here. And they love when the sportscasters and the news stations cover their sports with excellence. I'm sure you get pressure on you to be like perfect and on point with everything, because people pay attention because they have that passion. And so serving the audience in that way and trying to fulfill what their desire was to hear about the best of their sports teams, I do the same thing. I just do it in front of millions of people now with the most popular sport in the country, the National Football League. But the same principles that I had here in Central Illinois, I apply on Pro Football Sundays today.
Yeah, NFL Red Zone. Did you ever expect that, the red zone to blow up as much as it has. I mean, you are one of the faces of football on Sundays. So many people tune in on Sundays to hear you and for you to break down football for them. Did you expect it to blow up that much and for you to still be there?
I hope you don't think I'm just saying this for effect, Dante, but I actually did think it would blow up into what it is. In fact, there are videos on YouTube or wherever of me on the first ever on camera, the first episode in 2009 when we came on camera. I said, "Hi everyone, welcome to NFL Red Zone. My name is Scott Hanson. You are watching the first moments of the channel that we hope and think will change the way you watch football forever." And that may have seemed like bombast or hyperbole at the time, but there's not a day that goes by that people don't stop me and say, "Scott, I love Red Zone. You and the team do an awesome job. It changed the way I watch football." I really thought if we did it well, it would be the definitive way to watch the NFL, and a lot of people feel so here today after 15 seasons.
Mm-hmm. And talk to me about what you got going on this summer for the Olympics and how excited you are for that.
NFL Red Zone is so popular that other networks and other sports want to tap into that energy and approach, that rat-a-tat-tat, take you everywhere, whip around action. NBC Sports and myself just recently partnered up for the Gold Zone. So coming to your TVs on Peacock this summer, Red Zone style broadcasting for the 39 sports in the summer games in Paris, Gold Zone. Pray for your boy, because I don't know much about Bahrain handball, but I better learn soon.
Mm-hmm. And I have to ask finally, can you give me the opening catchphrase? I'm sorry, I'm sure you hear this 100 times. Do you get sick of it at all?
No, sir. No, sir. I lean into it. Full speed, whether it's hitting the octo box at the beginning of the show or during the fourth quarter when we hit the witching hour, when wins become losses and losses become wins, all wrapped up in 7 hours of commercial-free football. I hope someone got some goosebumps out there when I just did it, because I can't wait to say that for real in September.
Do people stop you like every day on the street and ask you to do that? I assume.
I've been asked in supermarkets, in parking lots, in shopping malls, in men's rooms. I've been asked, "Give me the catchphrase," and I try and comply because the fans love it.
All right. Well, thank you, Scott. I appreciate you taking the time to talk.
You got it, Dante.
Don't miss a video. Subscribe to our YouTube channel today for more Central Illinois news.